Hello, everyone. As you all know me, I am Dr. Scholastica Ezeribe, your facilitator for EGC 804, Techniques of Counseling. In week 5, we looked at some of the techniques we use in counseling. All those counseling techniques that we use during counseling, we looked at them. Today, I want us to study about how to apply these techniques during counseling. What are the things you need to know? What are the things you need to do in order to become effective in your use of counseling techniques? So, today we are going to learn about these things so as to be effective in your application of counseling techniques. So sit back and let us go. Thank you very much. The course we are taking, as you all know, is EGC 804, Techniques of Counseling. And our topic for today is application of counseling techniques. In week 5, we learned about some of the techniques that can be used to provide assistance to our clients. Today, we are going to look at the steps involved in applying these techniques. What do we intend to achieve at the end of this lesson? By the end of this lesson, the students should be able to list and explain the steps involved in application of counseling techniques. Then application of counseling techniques. One thing we should know and bear in mind is that the application of counseling techniques, method, or strategies requires on-the-job continuous practice and higher qualification so as to become an accomplished counselor. If you know these techniques, you have learned about these techniques, and you are not practicing their application, you are not working in a way that these applications, these techniques will be put into use, into practice, then it will be difficult for you to really master it. But on the job continuous practice and of course higher qualifications, like you are studying now to get your masters in guidance and counseling, it is higher qualifications. Of course, in first degree you learned about this technique. Now you are learning it again at a higher level. It is more clear to you, and as you now put it in practice and you practice and go on, you will become effective and accomplished counselor. However, to become more effective, you need to learn how to apply these techniques of counseling, and there are 7 steps involved. These 7 steps, you get them one by one, and when you master the 7 steps, put these things in place, you are good to go. So number 1 is getting the environment right. The environment, the counseling environment, getting it right, putting it in place. Number 1, you create, under getting your environment right, you create a space to talk, which is private and quiet, and where you know you will be free from interruptions. It will not be good if you are talking, there will be interruptions. People will come there to ask for their way to so and so place, come to ask about this and that, and in distractions and interruptions here and there, it will not make for effective counseling. So you have to create a space, make a time for yourself, and create a space where you have some level of privacy and quietness. The sitting arrangement has to be good, it has to be comfortable, so that the client will relax and say what he has come to say. You also make sure that the lighting and ventilation is proper. Make him know that you are ready to attend to the issue he wants to address. Make the client know that you are ready for him and you have come for him. Let him know that confidentiality is a watchword in your profession, in what you're going to say, that anything you discuss with him is confidential and not for the third ear. Let him get that message and he will be relaxed enough to open up to you. And make sure that you are fully aware of your professional code of ethics and apply them as you go on. So when you get the environment right, then the second thing to get right is this listening getting your listening right. Listening is very important. Like I said, getting the listening right. When the environment is set, the next thing you need to do is to get the listening right. You have to listen and listen very well. When we were talking about the skills, counseling skills, I told you that listening is key to whatever we do in counseling. You need to listen right. You need to listen with understanding. When you do this, the client will be encouraged. And as you are listening, do not interrupt when the client is talking. Just, you can nod your head, you can say okay, mm-hmm. Don't interrupt him, so that his ideas and whatever he's saying will flow. And then another way to show that you have listened and listened very well is by kind of summarization, using the summarization skill, whereby you report all that he has said in a very short summary. Summarize what he has said to you, and ask him if what you have just said is the right information he has given you. If it is, he will affirm that yes, this is it. If it is not, that he will say no. He will explain so that you can understand. So when you get your environment right, you get the listening right, the is asking the right questions. We talked about the questioning skill. It is very, very important that you get more information or you get limited information depends on your questioning skills. It is very important that you ask your questions very well. We told you that we have two types of questioning, the open questions and then the closed questions. And you are encouraged, as we learned the other time, that an open question is better than a closed question. In an open question, you cannot answer yes or no directly, but in closed question you can just say yes or no. And open questions encourages the client to bring out more details, to give you details of what is saying. You ask it in such a way that it is just open-ended. It gives room for more explanation. So when you ask the right questions, you also get to the first stage, which is first step, which is being affirming. In this, you provide emotional support and encouragement to encourage the flow of conversation between you and the client. This is very, very important. Emotional support and encouragement to the client is really, really important. And as you do this, it means you are showing respect to the client by an accepting attitude. So it is important that you provide emotional support. Limiting the advice. Try to limit the direct advice you give during your conversation. And ensure, the sixth one is that how to make it. How do you make it work? Ensure that you do not turn your conversation into an interrogation. You are not a police officer. You are a counselor trying to get the issues, to know the problems in your way, and not trying to through a conversation and not an interrogation. Don't interrogate the client. Also, make referrals where necessary. These are the 7 steps involved. And now the next slide takes us to our class activity for today. So take 2 minutes to complete the class activity. Explain the steps involved in counseling techniques. And this is very important for you to do. Then, having done this, I know you have done, then let's go summary. So today you have learned that to become an effective counselor who can apply counseling techniques, methods, or strategies very well requires an on-the-job continuous practice and higher qualification. Secondly, we have also considered the steps involved in the application of counseling techniques. So this brings us to the end of this lesson. Thank you and God bless you.